I didn't leave because I stopped loving her. I left because, in the middle of an argument, she looked me dead in the eyes and said, "You don't excite me anymore." Like I was a phase she had outgrown, like stability was a flaw. That sentence didn't just hurt, it rewrote everything. I'll be honest, we weren't perfect, far from it. There were nights we barely talked. I knew the spark wasn't the same, but I thought that was normal. That's what long-term love is, right? Comfort, not chaos. Warmth, not wildfire. Turns out I was wrong, at least for her. That night started like any other. We were sitting in the living room, barely talking. I brought up something small, some offhand comment about us not spending enough time together. She sighed, stood up and said, "Maybe we just don't work anymore. You don't make me feel anything now. You don't excite me." She said it like she was ordering takeout, emotionless, matter of fact. I sat there frozen, trying to figure out which part stung more, the words, or how easily she said them. I didn't scream, I didn't throw things, I just stood up, went into the bedroom, and packed a bag. She didn't stop me, not even a "wait" or a "can we talk about this?" I guess part of me was hoping she'd fight for us. But silence was the answer I got, and the one I needed. I walked out that night, and yeah, it broke me. Not because it was sudden, it wasn't, but because I realized I had been holding on to something that had already let go of me. The days after were brutal. You'd be amazed how loud silence can be in a new apartment. I kept playing our last conversation in my head like a broken record I didn't know how to turn off. "You don't excite me." It echoed in everything. When I made coffee, when I changed the bed sheets, when I scrolled through my phone and had no one to text goodnight. I started blaming myself. Maybe I got too boring. Maybe I got too predictable. Maybe love really does have an expiration date. People kept saying the usual garbage. You deserve better. Time heals everything. She'll regret it one day. But none of it helped at 2 a.m. when I was lying there, wide awake, trying to remember when exactly things began to fall apart. But pain is strange. It either eats you or teaches you. And eventually, mine started teaching me. I stopped asking why. I stopped replaying conversations that had no answers. I got up one day, made breakfast, and it didn't feel hollow. I started working out again. Not out of revenge, but because I needed to feel like myself. I laughed with friends. I went on bad dates. I learned that healing doesn't come in waves. It comes in quiet wins, like sleeping through the night, or not checking her Instagram, or hearing a song we used to love and not feeling like I was drowning. And then, 9 months later, she messaged me. It was short, just a "Hey, can we talk?" But it hit like a truck. I stared at it for a long time. I didn't feel anger. I didn't feel excitement. I just felt curious. We met at a quiet coffee shop on a Tuesday afternoon. She looked different. Not in a dramatic way, just worn. She smiled when she saw me. I didn't smile back. We sat down. Small talk. Awkward laughs. Then the real reason she asked to meet. "I've been thinking about you a lot. I made a mistake." She didn't cry. She didn't beg. But her eyes, they carried the kind of regret you don't fake. "I thought I needed excitement. I thought I was missing out. But no one made me feel the way you did." She paused, then said, "I didn't realize how rare peace was until I lost it." Part of me wanted to say, "You realize this now?" Another part of me just sat there quietly, sipping my coffee. "So," she finally asked, "would you ever give us another shot?" And here's the thing. 9 months ago, I would have jumped at that question. I would have called it fate. I would have called it hope. But now I'd learned that love isn't enough if it's not seen. That sometimes people come back not because they love you, but because they finally understand what they lost. And while I appreciated her honesty, I knew something she didn't. I had changed. I wasn't the same man she left. So I looked her in the eyes, smiled softly, and said, "I don't hate you. In fact, I hope you find what you're looking for, but I'm not someone you circle back to when the thrill fades." She nodded slowly. She got it. There were no tears, no final kisses, no lingering touches, just a quiet goodbye, the kind that feels like closure, not heartbreak. Outro, grounded and direct. I didn't leave because I stopped caring. I left because I finally realized I deserved to feel chosen, not tolerated. So no, I didn't take her back, not out of bitterness, but because peace isn't boring. Peace is rare. And now, it's mine. If you've ever had someone treat your consistency like complacency, if you've ever been told you weren't enough, only for them to realize too late that you were everything, you're not alone, and you're not boring. You're just finally choosing yourself.